Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and of course, Happy New Year. I hope you're all doing well and had a wonderful time with your loved ones. Now with that said, we are coming into the new year, so I did want to roll out an update for what exactly was happening with the channel moving forward, a very soft review of last year. I just kind of what to generally expect moving forwards, because oh boy, what a time to be a Mortal Kombat fan, huh? Now, one of the reasons why I did want to make this video is to kind of, address the elephant in the room with a lot of issues with MK, as well as kind of explain a lot of changes that will be coming to the channel moving forward. Because if I'm real, 2024 was really shit for the channel. And that's been largely reflective of the consensus surrounding MK, as well as the overall product in itself. As I did make a similar video about it last year, and whilst, some of those changes have been applied, entirely new problems have surfaced from it. And it's created a lot of issues and friction for myself with how I like the series, as well as just the community in general right now. Because if I'm for real, it's pretty volatile. It's not fun. Not that fun. And honestly, that's kind of been one of the contributing factors towards my own feelings with MK. I still love the series, it's great, and I love covering it on the channel. But the direction it's been steering towards hasn't been one that I've particularly enjoyed. There are a lot of elements I really do like, but for every one thing I like, there is also another thing I dislike. And just one of the things that has been rubbing me the wrong way is just kind of how malleable the canon has become. Where certain things are canon, locked in and set in stone, where other things aren't canon but are still kind of canon. It's all over the place. And if I'm struggling to follow along, then I know for a fact you guys are. That's been one of my main issues and gripes of late, which also has me wanting to talk about and touch on my history of series. The kind of bread and butter that really did build and cement this channel. Now, as you know, I really loved making that series, but I gotta kind of be for real with you. I haven't been enjoying making videos on characters in the core canon, just due to how much has changed. Because I have to cover 2 timelines and then the new additional stuff, and then everyone's talking about reboots again, and then we had the comics that were canon, then non-canon, which makes so many of my older videos, wrong. The canon is so malleable that it's so hard for me to want to make a history of episode on a character because it's going to be canon one day and then just not canon a few years later. It creates a lot of problems and issues for me as a content creator, because whilst from a financial position I can just keep churning out the same video game after game after game, those videos are designed to stand the test of time, so if certain bits of information being made invalid just kind of on the fly, it makes me kind of afraid to approach making a history of series with those characters. So much so that moving forward, and I will say I am quite excited to tackle it, I will be doing history of episodes on Mortal Kombat characters, but we will be doing more of the Across the Multiverse series, where I do tackle your characters in the expanded canon beyond the main media. And that's mostly because at least we know it's not canon and it isn't going to be retconned in some way, shape and form. Those videos will be accurate and will stand the test of time, and I thought what better way to kick things off than making a video on Scorpion nearly 10 years later after I made my first History of Scorpion video. Maybe when we get more details about the future of MK1, I will go back to covering the more mainline canon characters. But for now, this just feels like it's something that has a bit more meat on the bone for me, and isn't something I have to worry as much about. Because again, I really love MK. I just don't really know what direction they're going in, and a general consensus and talk about the canon is that there's going to be a reboot, it's going to be a requel, and it's a lot of nonsense. And with WB never being quite so clear with what's going on currently, I don't know what's happening. So Mortal Kombat will still be a centerpiece of the channel moving forward, it's just we're going to be tackling things in a little bit of a different way. And honestly, talking about the more cult-beloved spin-off characters and stuff has really rekindled my fire for talking about lore and canon, in a way that is similar, but it's also really fun for me creatively. But what does that mean for the rest of the channel moving forward? Will there be new games? Well, yeah. Of course, since the Game Awards, as you guys have probably seen, I have very softly dabbled in the Witcher stuff. This is a series I would really like to have take fruition a bit later down the line though. Because as much as I love that teaser, it doesn't actually have a release date. So you will probably be getting some Witcher stuff in the future, just not anytime soon. And the same can actually be said for Gears of War E-Day, as this was a series I grew up really enjoying, as I was kind of part of the Xbox 360 generation. It's definitely something I'd love to tackle moving forward, especially knowing that Marcus Phoenix was more than likely considered as an exclusive guest character for MK9 on the 360 side of things. Plus, I can't lie, Space Marine 2's kind of rekindled my love for that style of games. So much so that, yes, I have fallen down the Warhammer rabbit hole. Whether or not I'll ever tackle Warhammer on the channel, that's yet to be seen. That's quite out there for the channel, and I feel Gears of War hits a little bit closer to home for our generation of fans. We'll see, I might do a one-off spin-off episode for Khan, but again, that's just an idea on my part. Honestly, I would really like to talk about and return back to God of War, as one, the history of Kratos is the most successful video on my channel, and two, I generally miss talking about that game series and the community for it, because that was a lot of fun in my career and I'd love to go back to talking about God of War, but Santa Monica are unbelievably tight-lipped right now, so much so that it feels like the series has died again. So I don't know what's going on there, but rest assured when we do get some new big official news, I'll go right back to talking about it. It's just, right now it's in a point of stagnation. But now, of course, this leads on to the question of what's going on with other fighting games. Well, honestly, I'm not particularly too sure. I've not dabbled nearly enough into Virtual Fighter at all to kind of warrant making a Virtual Fighter video. Just out of the reason that if I was to approach it, I'd want to make sure that I did it right and justice, but I wouldn't know where to start. Honestly, you guys would have to let me know if you'd want me to approach something like Virtual Fighter. But honestly, we're gonna have to wait and see when it comes to fighting games, because I'm strictly limiting myself to just MK currently. But with that said, that doesn't necessarily mean I won't do other things regarding fighting games on the channel moving forward. We're just gonna have to kind of wait and see what's thrown my way. But one thing I'd really love to start doing moving forward is actually giving like the older MK games a full review in the same style that I gave Chaos Reigns a review. Whilst I strictly stuck to covering the narrative of that expansion, I would actually love to take the time to sit down and do a deep dive review of Mortal Kombat 9, as I feel like something like that really runs well alongside the history of series, as you get to have a deep dissection of the game whilst, you know, still learning lore about the characters of the universe. They kind of go hand in hand, and I do like having ways of kind of, you know, expressing myself outside of being a lore guy. The Chaos Reigns review was a lot of fun for me, and it's a direction I do want to steer the channel towards moving forward. Now, with that in mind, I will have a bit more of a set schedule moving forward into that of the new year. Because last year, it was just kind of all over the place, and I wasn't particularly enjoying making content in 2024. For this year though, please do keep an eye out for videos on Fridays and Sundays at 9:30 PM BST, as that's been the release schedule for the last few weeks or so, and maybe expect the odd stream every other Wednesday. Just whenever I can fit it into my schedule, because, you know, I don't want the streams to take away from the quality of the videos I put out for you. It's about balancing, and I do want to make sure I get it right. Because I can't lie, I have a lot of fun streaming. I have a really great time doing it. And it's always great to watch the Kombat cast of you guys, and even the pre-release characters for Kombat Pack 2. It's been an absolute blast, so I really want to make that kind of a regular thing here. With that in mind, that does roughly wrap up a lot of the channel stuff I did want to talk about today. Once again, Happy New Year, but most importantly from my own heart, always a massive thank you from myself for giving me the time of day with watching my content. I know this might come across as weird or sappy, but we've nearly been doing this for like 10 years now. That would not simply be possible without all of you. So I really do appreciate your input with the channel when it comes to comments, likes, and subscribing. Again, as I always mention, it's a small thing, but it goes a really long way here, and I absolutely love you guys for it. So thank you again, Happy New Year. I hope you're all looking forward to the content coming out on the channel moving forward. The History of Scorpion episode will probably come out on Friday or Sunday. I don't know how large the scale of that video is gonna be, so be prepared. And as always, please stay strong, stay well, and take care of yourselves coming into the new year.